Hello, ladies. Today we're going to talk a little bit about food addiction and compulsive eating. I just want to start out with the definition of addiction. Addiction is a compulsive, chronic, physiological, or psychological need for a habit-forming substance, behavior, or activity having harmful physical, psychological, or social effects and typically causing well-defined symptoms upon withdrawal, such as anxiety, irritability, tremors, or nausea. As I mentioned before to you many times, we have an opportunity during this time to rewrite our script about food and harness the awesome power of rewiring that's happening in our brains and bodies as a result of our hormonal shifts and changes in biology. So let's take advantage of this time. As you know, working through old patterns takes time and patience. Overeating has a lot to do with what's happening inside of us. It's not necessarily about the food. Many times when we feel empty, we look for food to fill the place, whether it's our relationships, our career, our family situations, our money situations. And food is comforting, let's face it. Like many other addictive behaviors, food can allow us to escape, to flee, to temporarily take the edge off. When we don't have good strategies for self-soothing, we tend to overeat, abuse alcohol or other substances, bury ourselves in work, spend hours watching TV, YouTube videos, scrolling, numbing ourselves. So I want to ask you a series of questions here and just allow yourself to close your eyes and think about the answers to some of these questions. What comes up for you? What is the first response that comes up? Why do you overeat? Are you aware of situations or emotional triggers that make you want to eat when you're not hungry? Do you find yourself eating even when you said you wouldn't? Why? Have you tried a lot of diets? What happened? How did they work long term and why? What could you do better to cope with your emotional triggers for eating when you're not hungry? What types of food do you feel like eating for emotional reasons? Why? Do you restrict yourself from eating certain foods and then later overeat them? Do you feel guilty when you eat? Do you eat when you're distracted? How do you feel when you're finished eating? Do you like the way you feel? What do you do in response to those times where you overeat? Are you practicing regular and meaningful self-care in order to buffer yourself from life stress? Does your life reflect wellness and wholeness in body, mind, heart, and spirit? I know I've just asked you a lot of questions, but what I want you to do is just sit for a moment and give yourself the time to formulate in words what your major takeaway from this exercise was. What is one thing that really stands out for you and is an insight as to what is keeping you in a pattern that is unhealthy. I want you to take a minute here and close your eyes and really distill your thoughts into one particular insight that you can take away from this experience. If you find yourself feeling like you are in an unhealthy eating pattern that is triggered by emotional stress or discontent, what have you learned about it from this exercise? What comes to mind? Your first insight is usually the right one.